The woman had just divorced her husband when she unexpectedly discovered that she was pregnant with his child. She planned to go to the hospital for a procedure to end the pregnancy so she could completely sever all ties with the marriage. However, it was this very decision that changed the course of the rest of her life. Before the procedure, she was still fantasizing that once she walked out of the operating room, she would be free to run her hands over as many male models with 8-pack abs as she wanted. Suddenly, the entire operating room went dark. Just as the woman began wondering where all the doctors had gone, a vision of the rest of her life flashed through her mind. After ending the pregnancy, her future self married a man chosen by her parents who moved into her family home and became part of her family. However, less than 6 months later, her parents were killed in a car accident. Her husband abandoned her overseas like a piece of trash, and the once wealthy heiress was reduced overnight to a beggar who could only search through garbage cans for food. She finally managed to find a piece of bread, only for someone else to snatch it away. Just as the woman was about to die, she saw her ex-husband, who had successfully turned his life around. Back then, she had looked down on him after he went bankrupt and divorced him without the slightest hesitation. Now, he had made a powerful comeback and become a successful man admired by everyone. Facing questions from reporters, he said that the person he wanted to thank most was his ex-wife. If she had not divorced him back then, he would never have become the successful man he was now. The woman finally realized that she had been wrong. She wanted to approach her ex-husband, but she discovered that he was now completely beyond her reach. The next second, the woman suddenly jolted awake on the operating table. If that dream was real, her family would soon be destroyed. She would lose everything, and she would eventually die miserably on the streets. At that moment, she no longer wanted the procedure and instead began to see the baby as her little lucky charm. After running out of the hospital, the woman went to ask her ex-husband to remarry her. She was shocked to discover that after the divorce, he had given the villa to her while moving into an old, rundown house himself. After carefully dressing herself up, however, she discovered that her ex-husband already had another woman by his side. Her heart sank, but what she did not know was that the woman was merely a younger woman who had trained under the same mentor as her ex-husband. Thinking about the miserable fate that awaited her, the woman shuddered. She knew she couldn't just stand by and let that nightmare come true, so she worked up the courage and asked her ex-husband to wait. But he merely gave her a cold glance before turning around and going upstairs. She never expected that the man who had once treated her like a princess would hate her so much after their divorce. Just as the woman, completely disheartened, was about to leave, her ex-husband came downstairs after seeing his junior fellow student off. She thought her ex-husband had come downstairs to give their marriage another chance, but instead, he coldly told her that now that he had fallen on hard times, he was no longer good enough for a wealthy heiress like her. The more she thought about it, the more she realized he had a point. She had been the one who ended their marriage so coldly, and now she was swallowing her pride and begging him to take her back. Anyone in his position would think she was just playing with his feelings. Unable to control herself, the woman began to cry and begged her ex-husband to believe that she was serious this time. He handed her a handkerchief and said, "We're already over." Those words pierced straight through her newly hopeful heart like a sharp thorn. She did not know how to convince him to stay, but for the sake of her parents, the woman still threw her arms around her ex-husband and said words she did not truly mean. She told him that she had thought about him every day since the divorce and begged him to remarry her. However, her ex-husband, whose heart had already been completely broken, did not believe her at all. Instead, he believed that she treated marriage like a game. Even though he had fallen on hard times, he refused to become a toy she could control however she pleased ever again, and remarrying her was absolutely impossible. After being rejected, the woman returned home and began reflecting on herself. Her ex-husband had remembered every one of her preferences and tolerated every one of her unreasonable demands, yet she had never even thanked him. She had simply taken everything he did for granted. After finally coming to her senses, she decided to win her ex-husband back little by little. So the next day, she went to visit his grandmother at the nursing home. After they got married, his grandmother had always wanted to meet her granddaughter-in-law, but the woman wanted nothing to do with her because she was sick. She made one excuse after another and never visited her even once. This time, she brought a large pile of gifts to visit her. However, the grandmother, who suffered from dementia, mistook the $1 million scarf she had brought for a cleaning rag and used it to wipe her wheelchair. The woman did not get angry. As long as the grandmother was happy, she still had hope of remarrying her ex-husband. As she wheeled the grandmother outside to get some sun, she happened to pass right by her ex-husband, who had come to arrange for his grandmother to be transferred to another facility. After they went outside, the woman suddenly smelled greasy fast food and began suffering from morning sickness. Although the grandmother had dementia, she immediately realized that her granddaughter-in-law was pregnant. The woman was vomiting so badly that she had no choice but to leave the grandmother by the roadside for a moment while she ran to the restroom to clean herself up. However, when she returned, the grandmother was gone. The woman panicked instantly and began searching everywhere like a madwoman. By chance, she ran into her ex-husband. He accused her of knowing that his grandmother was ill and still leaving her there all alone. Realizing that she had been misunderstood, the woman quickly explained that she genuinely cared about his grandmother and that her feelings for him were sincere. However, her ex-husband did not believe a word she said. They had been married for an entire year, yet she had never once visited his grandmother. Now that they were divorced, she had suddenly come to see her instead. But when her ex-husband saw the wound she had suffered after he pushed her down, he could not understand why his heart still ached for her. Little did he know he had never truly let her go. Even so, he still said, "I never want to see you again," before turning around to search for his grandmother. Before long, her ex-husband found his grandmother under the wishing tree. She had cut a good luck charm from the tree and treated it as one she had made for her granddaughter-in-law, hoping it would keep her safe. Only then did her ex-husband realize that he had misunderstood her. He went back to look for her and found her limping while still desperately searching for his grandmother. Her ex-husband was instantly moved. He quickly rushed over and caught the woman just as she was about to fall. After learning that the grandmother had already been found, the woman could no longer hold herself up and fainted. When she woke up again, she discovered that she was lying inside her ex-husband's home. The woman thought that bringing her back there must mean that he had softened toward her. However, she never expected him to tell her that he was leaving the city that very night and would never return again. He then told her to continue living as a wealthy heiress, find someone from a family of equal social standing, and spend the rest of her life free from worry. The woman desperately tried to make him stay, but she still could not stop him from leaving. When she walked away in despair, heavy rain was falling outside. This time, she did not call her driver to pick her up. Instead, she decided to take one final gamble. If her ex-husband saw her on his way to the airport, would he still worry about her the way he used to and choose to stay? The woman walked through the freezing rain until she reached the road her ex-husband had to take to the airport. Sitting inside the car, he clearly saw her. However, now that he had nothing, what could he possibly give her? He did not even know what his own future would look like, so how could he allow her to suffer alongside him? Every time he refused to remarry her, it was only because he wanted to forget her completely. The woman got the answer she had been dreading. She felt she had lost in the most humiliating way possible. As she watched the car disappear into the distance, she believed she had lost him for good. But just as her legs went weak and she collapsed onto the rain-soaked ground, she heard familiar footsteps approaching. She looked up and was stunned to see her ex-husband standing in front of her with an umbrella. Could it be that she had finally touched his heart?